Yes, people! Welcome back to GNA TV. Hope you guys are well, wherever it is that you may be around the world. We are here to talk about the Chelsea versus Wolves game, but we're going to start off with some breaking news for you guys. Breaking news in regards to Chelsea, Todd Boehly, everything. Literally come out a couple minutes ago as well. But make sure that you're smashing them likes, guys. Share on all your socials as well. Share it on all your socials as well. Big up to everyone that's already tuned in as well. But before we move forward, you know what time it is. Let's cue that intro. Welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are well wherever it is that you may be around the world. And we are here to talk about that big game over the weekend. We'll be doing a preview on that a bit later on in the show. But make sure you're smashing the like button. Subscribe if you're new to GNA TV as well. Breaking news. We've got some breaking news for you guys in regards to the Chelsea saga, Todd Boehly and Chelsea saga of signing over the football club. Should we get into it? Should we get into that? All the news in regards to Todd Boehly. I'll give you the breaking first. Big up to everyone in the chat. Over 30 of you guys already. Nice to see you. I hope you're having a blessed Friday as well. Big up to Concierge of Crime, Major N'Golo Kante as well. RG, Andre, Matt Smith. What's happening, my man? I hope you are well. Liam Lane, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're well. Big up to Kevin. Couch Critic is in the house as well. M3 declared. Texas Blue says I was good on Lorenz's show. Thank you, brother. Big up to you. Nice to see you in the chat. Matty is in the house as well. But let's start with the breaking news in regards to Todd Boehly, shall we? Shall we talk a bit about the Todd Boehly? And Ben Jacobs has literally just broke some news into regards to this as well. So we're going to go through each statement as we always do, and then we're going to obviously review it as well. Let's start. So obviously, he came out saying that Clearlake and Boehly entered into their final day of exclusive talks and expect to sign a purchase agreement to buy CFC. There are a number of logistical steps once the final deal is reached. This includes the EPL's O&D test, government approval, and transfer of funds. So when you think of that and what is only left to be done, you'd probably think to yourself that that's probably the minor steps left to get the signing off. How quick these can be turned around. The OD test, I don't know how long that take. The government approval, I'm assuming potentially should be done pretty swiftly, and the fact that the EPL's already agreed to it. Transfer of funds as well is something that, again, I'm pretty sure in this day and age they'll be able to move across quickly. Ben Jacobs also said a legal binding sale agreement does not have to be signed by today. The parties will continue beyond Friday, and if they need to, there is confidence they won't have to put it's not a rigid. There is confidence they won't have to, but it's not a rigid deadline. And from final negotiations to an actual sale, 2 weeks will likely be needed. So what does that mean for Chelsea going into the what does that mean for Chelsea and the special licensing? Obviously, we've got 3 weeks left of May. Is it trying to be squeezed into being done before the special licensing finishes? EPL sources tell me they expect the O&D test within 7 days have already vetted the listed directors. They must also assess a 3-year business plan. They can't officially do this until they are fully locked as well. So you probably have to finish off with the final minor stages along with getting the government back in as well. It also says that DCM's source say the government are content freezing the debt and are also comfortably in a position to approve a sale before May the 31st. The official line remains. CFC's special license will not be extended beyond that. It's being called a hard deadline. So specifically what I just said to you guys a couple minutes ago, it's not a thing of that it has to be. It's not a thing of that it has to be, it can go past that date. It is that they're working to a deadline date of the 31st. So this will all have to be squeezed in and amalgamated through this 3-week period. Now, you've already heard him say that there's a 2-week period for this all to be done. 7 days of it will be the O&D testing of the EPL Premier League. And then you've got the transfer of funds. And then all he's got left is to just get the sign off from the government as well. So there's a lot of things moving quite smoothly so far and quite quickly as well. Rain will turn to Sir Martin Brown if anything unexpected stops. Clearlake Boehly taking over. So what they're saying is if something out of the blue jumps out and there's a big red flag to stopping Boehly from taking over, they will turn to Sir Martin Brown. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is not the backup. Rain are not prepared to engage with the niece owner at this stage, having already communicated in writing he is not part of the process. Does that really surprise you? I mean, Jim Ratcliffe, as we already know, been talking on here about it as well, has been trying to cut corners. On the sale, on getting involved in the bidding war available. So him being cut out by a Rain Group, even though they already made it very clear that he wasn't happy with the whole movement of it, isn't a surprise. Is definitely not a surprise. Unclear at this stage how an announcement will be made. CFC executives have been asked to draft a statement, which is likely to be a joint one. They still may wait beyond just a signed sale agreement. Told that's the government's preference, but it's not reality in their control. So again, it's their decision on how they make the statement, when they make the statement. But I'm sure Chelsea Football Club in itself would probably look to potentially wait until, I would say, at least the sales sign-off is gone in. And for the sales sign-off to happen, you still need to do the O&D test for the EPL. We'll go back to it. The O&D test for the EPL. What else we got here? There it is. Government approval and transfer of funds. Now, transfer of funds can be done like that. It could be done in 24 hours. It could be done in 48 hours. That doesn't, in theory, hold much back. The government approval, again, they're the ones that have put the special licensing in. They know when the deadline is. So to get the government approval and for them to kick it on and allow us to move forward, I again expect that to move pretty quickly as well. And in terms of the and expect to sign a purchase agreement to budget. So there will be a purchase agreement in place, and it's not set in stone. As if to say, like, you're pretty half-heartedly agreeing to the sale or the takeover of Chelsea. However, there are still some logistical steps to complete the full sign-off. So, yeah, guys, we are all moving in the right direction. It's good that this come out because obviously my topic name is Todd Boehly. Does Todd Boehly to take over Chelsea today? The answer to that is purchase agreement to buy Chelsea could already be done, but there are still logistical steps left that need to be addressed. And they're not long process ones other than the O&D test. We don't know how long the government approval will take. That could pretty much speed up. But the transfer of funds, again, is something that will move forward. So what are your guys' thoughts and opinions in this? I know we're all at the point now where we just want it to end, right? We just all want to be able to move forward. We all want to be able to start talking about transfers and summer window and contracts and you name it, A, B, C, and D. There's a number of things that we are still going to be trying to address. So my question to you guys is, how do you feel about the news that's come out? Let's see if there's anything else in the meantime as of what I've been doing that as well. Let's have a look, shall we? Chelsea executives have been which is likely to be joint one regarding the announcement of the sale. So they're just talking about Chelsea executives writing up a joint draft statement in regards to Todd Boehly and Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea are in a position where they can choose when they announce it. Obviously, a purchase agreement to be signed is fine. Yes, the transfer of money shouldn't be an issue. The government signing it off, you would think, shouldn't be an issue. It really is just the EPL's O&D test. They've really done their soft vetting checks on the football club. So I don't get what more else there would be. Along with that, there's a lot of talks around Chelsea and transfer targets as well. Obviously, closing in on the fact that potentially Chelsea will have Todd Boehly signed up, or should have Todd Boehly signed up before the expiry of the license. The government and Ben Jacobs has commented here quite clearly. Again, I'll bring this up so that you see this. Which one was it? Sorry. Here it is. DCM sources say that the government are content freezing the debt and are also comfortably in a position to approve a sale. So if they're going to approve the sale, then the approval of the government is 99.9% there, which tells me the only big test left, like we've been saying, is that test. But in terms of in a position to approve the sale before the 31st, the official line remains Chelsea's special license will not be extended beyond that. It's being called a hard deadline, and that makes sense for me. That really does make sense. Martin Broughton is, however, guys, and this is the other thing as well, Martin Broughton is the second in line, not Jim Ratcliffe. Jim Ratcliffe has been told that this will not be the case. Jim Ratcliffe has been told that he's been removed from the process by Rain Group as well. So lots and lots has happened. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Big up to CC Matty. AK's in the house. Poor vibes. Big up to you as well. Athan, big up to you. Lots of break-ins. Quickest Premier League carry out an ODS was 10 days. They'll do as in 7. We are breaking records because of the time frame. But you're right, Dexter. We're having to speed things up. Big up to Chelsea fan in the house. Dexter says EPL can do OD test until the sale agreement. Can't do any OD test until the sale agreement is complete. Well, that is the purchase agreement, which is again apparently being signed. Could be potentially today. That could be an official announcement on that from the football club once that's done. But they have apparently carried soft background vettings of Boehly. Should help them meet the 7-day target. True. Big up to Daniel in the house as well. We got man like Blue Lounge Mo in the house. Nice to see him as well. Liam Lane's here. He's very happy. It'll be good to get back to talking about normal things. And I agree with that. I'm trying to stay away from doing, serious shows around the ownership because it's just been very dragged, And likely, but imagine if they get this done before Watford so we can buy tickets for the last match. Listen. We were talking on a space earlier. I was on a space on Twitter with Monster and Kai and a number of people. And we were talking in and around what happens once Chelsea's license ends. What things do you think may happen to speed up things? Well, the mega store will be open. But Monster said himself that he feels that the kit prices will be dropped dramatically because there will have to be a clear out. You think about it. You've got all these kits and all that stock sitting there. And we're going into a new season where Chelsea officially announced their new kit, usually at the end of this season. So there is a good chance that the first thing that Todd Boehly may do once he's in is just say, do you know what, guys? Let's drop these kits by half price or 3/4 of the price. Let's leave it. Give it to them for like 15 quid, 20 quid. Let's just get rid and sell cheap. That could happen. That's one of the first things that could possibly happen, along with the potential of being able to maybe buy a ticket for the last game of the season. Because at that point, we should be able to, at this point, we should be able to do that, providing that the special licensing ends before the prescribed 31st date, which again is still an option. So we have to see what happens. Pius tweeting about anti-Glazers. Do you know what? I've got that. Did I bring that up? I was meant to bring that up. I was going to bring that up because that was interesting. Let's go back to Pius. We're going to go through that. Because that was interesting stuff in and around what was a clause to the contract that Mr. Abramovich again has put forward again. But you know what? And we'll talk about it again in a space earlier. When you think of Roman Abramovich and what Roman Abramovich has done up to this point for this football club, I'm talking about the negotiation stance of selling the club, making sure that the football club itself is in good hands, putting in clauses, making guarantees, asking these bidders to provide 3-year plans, confirming that they're going to at least spend 1 billion into the football club, having 10 years minimum at the football club as well, keeping us at the elite level. There is not much more that one owner in Roman Abramovich could do to make sure that this football club is in the right manner, to be sent away in the right manner and being kept at the highest order. Roman Abramovich, from the bottom of my heart as a Chelsea fan, and I'm pretty sure most of you Chelsea fans feel the same, thank you very much for what you've done for this football club. I don't care about politics and what he's been doing outside. This has got nothing to do with that. What we're talking right here, right now, is what Mr. Roman Abramovich has done for Chelsea Football Club. And what he's done for Chelsea Football Club up to this point, even like I said in this negotiation period, and how well he's handled it and trying to make sure that we looked after, I can't imagine any other owner in world football doing. I couldn't imagine any of them. None of them. I think they would take their money and run. I think they would sell it without really thinking about who they're selling it to. And I don't think the emotional connection as what Roman Abramovich has had would be the same. Roman Abramovich, thank you very much. You, for me, will always be in my heart the best owner ever at this football club. And for me, the best owner in the Premier League. Hands down, the best owner of any team in the Premier League as well. Do you think it will be done today? Well, no, because we've been told, Daniel, that potentially this could be going for another 2 weeks. It just again means that 6 days of it will be on the O&D test. The approval from the government should be done, and then it's just a transfer of funds, which again can be sorted as well. But yeah, draft statements have already been made. The government's not forcing the football club to announce it at a certain time. It's down to the football club and Todd Boehly to decide when they believe the right announcement is in. And I think they will do that knowing fully that Todd Boehly is going to be that guy. Does it mean he's not going to be that guy at the moment? No, I just feel that there's probably still maybe one big hurdle to jump from his perspective, just to make sure there is no little tanglements. There's no way the government or the Premier League could actually go, actually, we didn't notice that, So I think they're just making sure that they cover all corners before they do the announcement, which is huge. Over 80 of you guys here. Big up everyone in the chat. Make sure we get these likes up, though, guys. There's a new thing on the super chat. I need to check that. Let's have a quick look. No, it's not working. So they've given us a new option where you can have you have super sticker and super chat. There should also be something there for super thanks. There's something called Super Thanks that's come out on YouTube. I did enable it, and it allows you to just make coloured comments up and put them on the screen and stuff, and it does all this effects and stuff. You get to pick the effects and stuff. They did say I was eligible to it, so if you can see it on your computer, maybe, but I'm just checking the chat, and I can't see it, even though I've made it active, so I'd have to double check that at another stage. Who will want to buy those, though, is what I don't know if he's talking about there. Be careful what you say to me, Nick. What's going on here? Nick, you can't. I was there yesterday. I'm going to say this, yeah. You can't be walking around swearing at people because they have difference of opinions to yourself. You can't be doing that, bro. I saw what you did on the Blue Lounge, and I fully understand why Mo made the decision to remove you. You can't do that, bro. You can't speak to people like that. That is not how you. I know you're an older person and whatever else, but you can't speak to people like that, bro. Come on, a lot more respect is required in them instances as well, my man. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want Coucher, Mo, and Nick having arguments in the chat. Like, that's disgusting. Don't do that, Nick, because you're going to make me block you. What is that? What is that? I'm putting you in a timeout for that, mate. You don't put comments like that up. That's disgusting. Don't do that. Don't do that in my chat. You want to talk to Mo, if you can, message him directly, but don't sit in my chat and start saying stupid things. If you say stupid things, I'll just remove you. Yeah, stop doing that. Yeah, you don't do that. That's very disrespectful. He doesn't understand what he's coming out of his mouth is disrespectful. You don't do that. So am I. So am I. I'm Turkish. Stop it. Stop it. I'm trying to talk about what's going on today. I don't want to be going through the chat talking about racist comments. Again, this channel don't condone any racism, and if I see any of it, I will cut it. All right? Respect. Yeah? Everyone has respect for each other in the chat. Exactly. Sort this out in private. Shouldn't have to be dealing with this when I'm trying to talk about Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? Big up to Marshall as well. Big up to Marshall. It was, and I don't really want to talk about it too much. At the end of the day, I've dealt with it, and it is what it is. Put him in timeout. Right. So yeah, guys. So there's that. All right. So that's where we stand with Ben Jacobs. What we're going to talk about now quickly is Pies' comments in regards to the anti-glaziers clause. Very interesting. Obviously, Mark Kleiman from Sky's brought this out as well. He said, advisors to Roman Abramovich are discussing with Todd Boehly's group about anti-glacier clauses being set, including agreeing a strict limit on the debt they can take on, paying dividends and taking out management fees. Roman Abramovich, as a businessman, has been getting this spot on. Every little avenue that could effectively fuck up this football club, he's trying to do at the best of his ability. Cover them areas. And for doing that, I keep saying it, big up to Mr. Roman Abramovich. Guys, get these likes up as well if we can. We've only got 33 likes. Let's close this to 50 likes, please, if we can do that. Yeah, Kai, there's another Marshall beside you. Yeah, it's what's it? It's Marshall. It's Marshall, man. It's the actual Marshall. Right. So let's talk about this because obviously it's quite interesting stuff. So basically saying anti-glacier clauses barring new owners from paying dividends on management fees until 2032. That is a long time. That means that you're in this football club for the long term. This is no short-term investment, take it, go, run. That is not happening. That is not happening. It's not being allowed to happen. Prohibiting the sale of any shares for 10 years. He's stopping people from taking shares and being involved. He's asking for whoever takes over this football club to initially hold their shares and move forward in the right manner without having to bring in people that may potentially just want to do it for the quick bucks. And because of stopping that, I think that's a good thing. Agreeing to strict limits on the level of debt that they can take on. So basically, don't go into the transfer market over 10 years and build up £2 billion worth of debt and just not worry about it, but don't realise that you don't have the funds to cover it and then leave the football club in turmoil and then it having to be closed off. What he's saying is, there's your cap, that's your limit, work with your debt limit. If you can work towards that, then you'll be fine. You know, clubs will get themselves in debt and pay it off quite quickly, but clubs getting themselves into debts when giving players contracts on long-term contracts on silly wages will be an issue. And again, I keep saying it, he is trying to make sure that this football club is left in the best hands possible. And being taken care of moving forward. And Kai said it in the space earlier today. The love that he's shown, the due diligence that he's gone through to making sure that he's covered every corner to the best of his ability. As an owner, in himself and what he's doing, all the shit he's got going on with the government where he's not getting a penny, he's showing his love for this football club and he's putting the football club first. Yeah, and that you are not getting from any other owner across world football. It's just not happening. It is just definitely not happening. Big up to Roman Abramovich, best owner ever in the Premier League for me. Just hope new owners pay for players and help out in the community. I think they will. Look, I don't know what Todd Boehly is going to do in the long run, but we'll have to wait and see. But I am not worried. Not from what I'm hearing from certain Dodgers fans that have got Boehly as their owner and how he's incorporated the structure of sales, how he makes money, how he brings in big signings, the ideas that he has. There's a lot of things that are going to be interesting. Gem, answer I got from work. Boehly would call it purchase agreement, and to Roman/Rain, it's a sale agreement, but it's the same document. In UK, it's usually just referred to as a sale agreement/contract. Whatever way you want to word it, Dexter, sale agreement/purchase agreement, they pretty much, for me, mirror the same thing. The truth be told, that sale agreement pretty much is an 80% sign off to Todd Boehly. There is the small hurdles. I think, like I said, the transfer of funds is not an issue. That's something that can be done. The government approval is something, again, that will be done quickly because apparently the government's already ready to pass it on and sign it off. It's only the O&D test that he's got to do with the Premier League, which lasts for about 6 to 7 days, which he'll be able to pass through. Once he's done that, then I think you'll see things move even quicker. And I hope that by the end of next week, we will have an announcement from Chelsea Football Club of the new owners. So I think they may hold back at the moment, even with the purchase agreement signed off maybe today. That could happen. But Maybe not. Maybe they will come out and announce it as soon as now and be confident that he will pass everything that's left to do. I don't know. But if I'm them, I would probably hold back and wait for him to pass the O&D test before you think about announcing him as the Chelsea owner. Do you think Roman will cooperate? Do you think Roman will be cooperative considering how much the UK want to screw him over? I think he's really kind of confirmed that he has, Kai. I don't think he'll do anything in regards to where the government will benefit from it. I think what he just wants to do is make sure that Chelsea's taken over in the right manner. In terms of these funds, that's where I think the issue lies, because he doesn't want the government to have his money. Problem is, they're the government. They can freeze his money. They're in control of his money. They can make the decisions of where and what and how it goes. You know, that for me is something he has to sort out away from Chelsea Football Club. He hasn't got the time to be having wars with the government about his 1.6 million debt, which is going to be frozen, or even talk about the 4 billion, which is what we're being told, for around 4 billion pounds worth of sale money, which will come from this deal. These are things that are going to continue. So even with Chelsea being signed off by next week or as early as today or tomorrow or whenever, there will still be a continuation between Roman, his legal team, and the government and the funds. That's the way I see it. And he has to, unfortunately, he can't do it with Chelsea not being signed off. He just has to agree with signing off Chelsea, making sure that he does cover every angles. Why the anti-glacier clause is coming in is to make sure that that's the case. Why has he asked for due diligence 10 years, 1 billion being involved in the club, 10 years being at this club as well, stopping shares being bought for 10 years. It's there. I'm reading it now. Stopping owners from taking dividends on management fees until 2032. So you're coming in here for the long run, buddy. You ain't coming in here to just eat the money that you make for Chelsea Football Club. You're here to build and build and build. We're already a 3 billion giant. Let's go and make us a 30 billion giant. That's how he's trying to leave it. And he's really trying to make sure that we're in the best hands possible. Roman Abramovich needs a statue or a stand. Can you imagine? We could maybe change one of the stands to the Roman stand. Who likes that? If you like that, smash the like button, guys. Roman stand. The Roman stand. Over 100 of you guys here. Big up, everyone. Let's get these likes up, though, guys. Only 38 likes. Smash the like button. It's a beautiful day in the UK. I don't know what it's like where you guys are as well. But get the likes up. Let's close this. We've got the Wolves and Chelsea, or Chelsea and Wolves preview show to do next. Big game. 3 points away from Arsenal. Neither win. Not in great form, as we already know as well. There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to discuss in football terms. At the moment, we're just finishing off on the new owner scenario. And there's a lot that's came out today. Big up to Seppers. I hope eventually he gets that loan back from the government. He may do. But then again, there's not much that can be held against him. How can they hold them to money that ain't officially their money? There will come a time where that money will have to be released. And it can only go one way, can't it? It's his money. It is definitely his money. Not good enough. We're going to talk about Chelsea next. We're going to talk about football next, guys. We are going to talk about football next. I just want to quickly fly over to this one, and then we're going to talk about football. And then we'll open up the lines, and then we'll get the panel in. Same old stuff. So clearly, Capital Boehly are in advanced negotiations with Chelsea advisors over the conditions to ensure Chelsea's financial stability post Roman Abramovich. And then when we click into this, I don't know if you can see that. I might have to come out of this and go back to here quickly. Let's do that. It's just a quick statement into regards to what we were really talking about, but a more in-depth conversation. So sources close to the bid said on Friday that clearly Boehly Group was in advanced negotiations with Chelsea advisors about blah, 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 barring them from paying dividends until 2023 to prohibiting the sale of any shares for the first 10 years and agreeing to strict limits of level of debt that can be built up under the football club, protecting the football club. In line with all the other final bidders for last season's Champions League winner, it's also committed minimum further investment of $1 billion in its stadium. The demands from Rain highlight the unsure nature of Chelsea's sale process at a time when the ownership of England Football Club faced unprecedented government interventions, we know. One insider dubbed the measures as an anti-glacier clause, that that were designed to ensure Chelsea's financial stability in the post-Roman era, and really said what I feel of Roman. He's really done a really good job on this. The clear-rated Boehly consortium, which was selected as Chelsea's preferred bidder a week ago, could sign a binding agreement to acquire the club as soon as Friday, although the signing could still be delayed for several days. Why will it be delayed for several days? I know I keep repeating myself to you guys, because he's still got to do the O&D test, Todd Boehly, which the Premier League are asking him to do, which will probably take about 6 to 7 days. Further details of these conditions attached to the agreement were unclear, although a source said that limitations on the debt would see the club allowed to borrow several million pounds for working capital. Interesting. So read that again. Further conditions attached to the agreement were unclear, although a source said the limitations on the debt would see the club able to borrow several hundred millions of pounds for working capital. The roughly 2.5 billion purchase price could be funded entirely in equity, the source added. Don't really care about the Glazers. I'm not going to sit here and read about the Glazers. The series of provisions is, if agreed, represents a bold bet from Chelsea's new owners, particularly given that Clear Lake has an financial imperative to deliver to the investors. Blah, 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 blah. Mr. Boehly is said to be determined to donate the 2.5 billion to a new foundation benefiting more victims, with last week's demands for the 500 million were made to enable a 1 billion to be handed to charity, which we already know about. If Boehly cannot finalise a deal, Rain is expected to turn to one of the two bidders, either Stephen Pagliuca or Sir Martin Broughton. Now, we already know that Sir Martin Broughton is probably, from what Ben Jacobs said, is going to be the second in line. Ratcliffe's been kicked out. The Clear Lake Boehly bid is understood to have offered around 4.25 billion as well, which is for a pledge by Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Is there anything else, really? Mr. Brown has owned Chelsea since 2003 and has turned the club into the top sides in Europe, with 19 major trophies having been won under him. A spokesman for the Clear Lake Boehly consortium and Rain both declined to comment. So they're still keeping very tight-lipped about the whole scenario as well. Let's see what Kai's saying here. He's saying, let's click that. Unpopular option. If Roman decided to stonewall the sale because of the loan, I probably wouldn't be that upset about it. I wouldn't, and I would. At the end of the day, it is his baby, and I understand it. It's like, I don't know. It's like you owning your Xbox and then being forced to sell it, but you don't want to. But then at the same time, you're selling it, but you're not actually being given the money for it. You're kind of just having to just give it to them. That is what's happening right now. And I get why he would look at it as, a thing of, I don't want to do this. But at the same time, I just think he loves the football club too much. He genuinely just loves Chelsea Football Club too much. Hope Saudi media make a late bid is what Matt's saying as well. Big up to John CFC. My cam is not off. It'd be upset if Saudi. I don't think that's going to happen, mate. I really don't think that's going to happen. I don't understand the director's test. It's about a week, but exclusivity runs out. But today I'm so confused. No, the director's test goes into next week. Whether or not he's already on it now, doing it, or what, we don't know. All we know is that he still has to pass that O&D test. Once he passes that O&D test, it is then just the transfer of funds and the government approval, which is already set, apparently. It real twists your gut. It really isn't fair. Have been robbed of our owner, bro. We have. I don't think he wanted to sell on these circumstances as well. But yeah, there you go, guys. We're up to date on the Boehly stuff. Anything more breaks, I will definitely share it with you guys. But Ben Jacobs stuff was probably the most breaking of news. Let me just make sure there isn't anything else before I move on to the main event, which is that Chelsea are actually playing football tomorrow, guys. Chelsea are kicking a ball tomorrow, and they're playing against Wolves. They're up against the Wolves team that are in not too much bad form, but when you look at the table and its overall, where we are at on it overall, we currently find ourselves in third, 66 points, 3 points in front of Arsenal. 4 games left. 7 points is required from us to get across the line. But we're up against the Wolves team that have lost 4 of their last 5 games. Now, what does that mean for Chelsea Football Club? Not much, because why? We are Charity FC. We are Charity FC. We like gifting. We like gifting teams points. And tomorrow's game is not going to be easy. It's not. It's not going to be one of the, it's not going to be one of the ones where we completely blow them away. Do I expect us to win? Yes. But could we easily draw this game? Yes. We could easily draw this game. This is a game that can go two ways. And again, it falls on us, because if we turn up, if we play to the level that we know that we can play as a team, then we probably go and win this game quite comfortably. It won't be a 4-5-0 smashing. It could be a 1-0, 2-0. And I'm expecting a good performance. However, we have seen two different types of Chelsea in the last two games. We've seen one against Man United that created so much but couldn't finish their dinner. And the creative element of not being able to take your chances is an issue. To the flip side of where we don't create many chances, find it hard to break the team down, only have one shot on target, don't know what happened there. I disappeared, but I'm back. Press the wrong button. I'm sorry, guys. I pressed the wrong button, man. Press the wrong buttons. I always do that. Once in a blue moon. Don't create much. Make it hard for ourselves. And then get caught on one attack and lose a game. And that is what Chelsea do. Relevant to the mistake that was made in the past, or whatever, it happens. We continue to be individual FC, Charity FC, whatever you want to call Chelsea Football Club at the moment, we are that. But we just need to get through this season, man. I want this season to end. I've never wanted the season to end so much in this season. This season has been painful. The fact that we're going to finish off more points than what we did last season doesn't mean much to me, because we were shit last season. This season, you can take context to it. We are going to do a season preview show. We will be doing a season preview show on this one. Gem the Magician, do you know what I mean? I just fucking disappeared, bruv. I literally just disappeared. Oh, that's funny, man. Yeah, tell me about it. But we have to now. We have to talk football, guys. We have to talk football. We are Charity FC. We're giving away points. Yeah, exactly. So who knows what sort of Chelsea we're going to get? That's the question mark. But all I know is that we need 7 points to solidify our position in third. And to do that, we need to win. And to win, we need to beat teams like Wolves. Wolves are not in great form, but don't look at the form, because we know what Chelsea are about. We know what they can do and how they've been playing recently. Inconsistent FC, Charity FC, whatever the hell you want to call it. Just get me to the final against Liverpool, and hopefully we turn up to that game, which we probably will. Don't get me wrong. They're the type of games we'll probably turn up. Rudiger's last game, Christensen's last game, potentially Jorginho's last game, could be Kante's last game, Lukaku on the bench's last game, Werner's last game. Who knows? Ziyech. Whose last game should it be? Alonso. We're hearing that Alonso is going to Barcelona potentially. Fabrizio Romano saying that Alonso's looking likely to leave. Oh, I forgot to mention that to you today. Fabrizio Romano. I forgot about that. It's good that I just thought about that, actually. Fabrizio Romano. Let's bring him up. Fabrizio. Where does he say it? Where do you say Fabrizio Romano? What do you think? Lewandowski's looking like it likely he may stay at the thing. But also we've got this, quickly. Before we go back to we're going to get into the bulletin, but let's quickly fly over to Fabrizio Romano. Emerson Palmieri will leave Lyon at the end of the current season and return to Chelsea. He's definitely not going to stay at Lyon next year. Many clubs are interested in signing him, including Juventus, but there's still nothing advanced due to Chelsea's situation. Basically, we are bringing him back, probably getting rid of Alonso and having Emerson as like the backup to Ben Chilwell. That is what's going to happen. unless we buy a marquee signing in that position. And we need so many of them. Are we going to do that on the left when we should be thinking that, even though Chilwell's back? I don't know. Arteta's at the wheel. Arteta's at the wheel, guys. That's a good one. We're happy. Where's this one about Alonso? Where is it? Where's it gone? No, I've gone past it. I'm sure someone sent me the thing saying that he's likely to leave. Does he say it below? Let's have a look. Oh, right, here it is. Possibly him staying at Chelsea if Alonso is sold to La Liga, I'd imagine, is what he says here. And then it basically says, could be... It could be an option, but depends on Tuchel, new project strategies. I see Alonso leaving this summer. So he feels that Alonso will leave Chelsea, which means, hallelujah, thank you very much, Alonso. I don't mind driving you. I don't mind driving you to there. It's not a problem. I don't mind driving you there, dropping you off, making sure that you jump on that plane. But we don't need you here. We need to be looking forward. And Alonso, defenders, you name it. There's a number of things that Chelsea Football Club need to sort out. Whether they're going to sort it is yet to be seen. But let's get rid of Deadwood. What did we say? Get rid of the Deadwood. See you later, Deadwood. Get out of the club. Get rid of the Deadwood, right? Get rid of Deadwood. Once we've got rid of the Deadwood, let Todd Boehly then start investing. Look at Todd Boehly. Sorry, I got a message. Start to invest into the football club. Once we clear out that wage bill, once we have funds that are available to us where we will be able to start bringing players in here and there and switching it around, then we'll be able to buy once we sell. But we have to sell before we buy, guys. I keep saying this. How many will we sell? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Blue Lounge is saying, Ziyech, big up to you. Jim's pointing faster than R9. Big up to Eric. Alex, nice to see you in the house, bro. I haven't seen you in a while. Jim Emerson is set to stay with a new contract. Where was that? Where was that? What, you think the Bald are going to do that? We need to clear out. We do, Seppers. We need to clear out, man. Blue Lounge and Eric Blue talking. Most of our defenders will play each other in El Clasico. That's true as well. That is true. Let's talk about the bulletin, the Blues bulletin. Chelsea versus Wolves. What we got? We have history, guys. The Blues are seeking to extend our unbeaten home run in all competitions against Wolves to 11 games, 7 wins and 3 defeats since our last defeat 43 years ago. Wow. The last 2 Premier League games between the sides have finished goalless. We have never had 3 consecutive 0-0 draws against any opponent in our league history. So this could be the 3rd time that we could struggle. And this could happen, by the way. We could have 40 chances and probably miss them all. And then walk out with a 0-0. Like, it could happen. Let's be serious. Chelsea are seeking a 4th win in 4 games against Wolves as well. Interesting. Interesting stuff. In the last home defeat at Stamford Bridge in 1979, blah, 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 blah. I won't get into that. Biggest league win for each team. Wolves beat Chelsea 8-1 back in 1953-54. Then Chelsea beat Wolves 5-0 in 03-04 as well. Winning 6-2 at home as well was Chelsea's biggest home win as well. That ain't true. That ain't true. Oh, what is our biggest? Sorry, it's our biggest home win against Wolves. Yeah, I thought it meant it's our biggest ever home win. It's not. Last game round, 0-0. We started with Giroud at front and Havertz, Ziyech behind. Chilwell was in the team. Kovacic and Jorginho in the middle. Hudson-Odoi was the wing-back. Rudiger, Silva and Azpilicueta were the players in the 3. This was Tuchel's first game. I remember this. This is the first game Tuchel had under Chelsea Football Club. I don't know if you guys remember. JC Reese, go up. That Twitter thread, Romano was replacing the responsibility of, was replying of the possibility of Alonso staying if Alonso leaves. Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I didn't read it probably. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Big up to Farish, man. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. The thing about a 4th win, not sure about that, what that means. What do you mean? No, it must be 4th win in a row against Wolves, maybe, potentially. True. It was a 0-0, yeah. So that's true, actually. I don't know what they mean by that as well. It's a good point. Going into weekend's fixture with our superior goal difference, 6 points from our remaining 4 games should be enough for Thomas Tuchel's side to secure top 4. So 6 points to secure top 4. Whether we finish 3rd and 4th, it's down to Chelsea Football Club. As you already know. Chelsea have just lost one of their last 13 Premier League games, kicking off at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. 9 wins and 3 draws. So any good news, when we play at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, guys, we usually win. 9 of them. 44% of Chelsea's Premier League points this season have come at Stamford Bridge. Only Watford's 32% and Brighton's 36% have lower percentages of points won at home in 21-22. Mason Mount has had 66 shots in the Premier League this season, more than any Chelsea player. Kai is in the mud. And Kai, if you're in the chat, mate, you're in the mud. You're in the mud. Mason Mount has 66 shots in the Premier League this season, bruv. More than any Chelsea player. 26 on target and 21 off target. 19 block. More on target than he has off target. Man like Mount. Mason Money Mount. Big up to Josh in the house. Nice to see him as well. Noah, nice to see you. Yes, get them likes up, guys. We are only on 52 likes. Over 150 of you guys here. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to GNA TV as well. On our road to 6K subscribers, man. We are moving at a very nice speed, guys. Very, very nice speed. We'll open up the lines as well. Let the panel in once we do the ratings. Does anyone remember if Premier League voted to get rid of 3 p.m. kickoff TV block out for next season? No, I can't answer that. I wouldn't know. Did you answer that, bro? I would not be able to answer, but maybe the chat can. Only Man City's 90 have higher passing accuracy percentage than Chelsea in the Premier League games this season. 87. Marcus Alonso striker at Old Trafford was his 24th in the Premier League for the Blues and moves him ahead of Mason Mount as our leading current squad Premier League goal scorer. Oh my God. Premier League strike at Old Trafford was his 24th in the Premier League for the Blues and moved him ahead of Mason Mount. Marcus Alonso is the enigma. He is the player that we all know is shit, but for some weird reason has this great stats against his name. He is a player that I'm happy can go. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you've done for this football club. But other than this, my bro, go and get on with playing for Barcelona. I don't care about this stat. But technically, not going to lie, he's probably better finisher than most of our forwards, which is embarrassing. Exactly, man. It's embarrassing, man. It's absolutely embarrassing. Mason Mount is Chelsea's highest scorer, 10 and assists, 9 in the Premier League this season. Only Mohamed Salah has double figures for both games this season. So again, there's only another double figure player this season in the Premier League that has done what Mason Mount has done. Mo Salah. Mason Mount is breaking records again. I love winding people up in the chat. People think I'm being serious as well. It is true though. Outputs don't lie. Outputs do not lie. If we're saying our attack sucks, then we probably shouldn't pick up Mount's numbers. Yeah, it's not good enough. Super thanks are active on your channel, Gem. They will show up once the stream ends. It's only shown on videos, not stream. Oh, okay, cool, bro. Thank you for that. So there you go, guys. That super thanks, which you've activated, only comes at the end. So it gets highlighted, I believe, on the comments box, but it's like a colorful comment and you get to play around with it, whatever. So when you finish the stream, check out the super thanks option. It will pop up for you guys to use. So let's see what happens with that. Alonso can play striker better than Lukaku. He's a better technical finisher than Lukaku, yeah. I agree. Ruben Loftus-Cheek will start his 50th. He played his 50th game against Everton. So he's played 50 games. Starts for the Blues. 50 starts, man. Well done to Ruben. I don't care about all stats. Wolves have the 4th best defensive record this term. 4th best defensive record doesn't sound good to me. Only Burnley, Watford and Norwich have scored fewer goals than Wolves this season. Wolves don't score many goals. Very doesn't surprise me. In terms of discipline, there are no suspensions. Ref for this one is Peter Banks and VAR is Jared Gillett. This will be Peter Banks' 12th Premier League match this season as referee and his first Chelsea match in the competition since 2021. His only previous Blue games was our 3-2 FA Cup win at Luton in March. There you go. So this ref doesn't really ref Chelsea. But there you go, guys. There's your stats. There's your taste of the head-to-heads and breakdowns. We're now going to move into that so important guessing of the lineup. Now, Thomas Tuchel is doing his press conference soon, so we will learn who's injured, who's available, who's back, who ain't back. But from what I understand, it will be probably the same people that are out. So my question mark to you guys is this. How do Chelsea set up in this game? Do we play a 4 or do we play a 3? Because the 3 at the moment hasn't really been working because of the personnel. And I don't think the 3 is the problem. I think it's the personnel. But switching to a 4, does people feel that maybe certain players can now be played like Ziyech? What would you do against a Wolves team who we know are going to play 3-4-3, but with 2 wing backs that are pretty much going to be a 5? How do we break that team down? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Do you want a 3 or do you want a 4? Well, I'm going to go on what I think Tuchel's going to do. And I think he's going to do the 3-4-3 still. And it's very easy just to throw Edouard Mendy into this goal because I think Edouard Mendy will play. Antonio Rudiger, who I believe is fine as well, I think Tuchel will pick. Thiago Silva will play. That's what I think he's do. But who does he play in that right position? I don't think he's going to do that, though, Dexter. Are you being serious, Lebo? You must be joking. What is Tuchel going to do, guys? I'm not asking you what you want to do. What do you think Tuchel's going to do? Maybe. I just don't know whether he's going to do it, Eric. We could do I'll tell you what, all right? I'll tell you what. We will do 2 systems. We will do the 4 and we'll do the 3. We'll start with the 3 and then we'll switch it to a 4. Yeah? Cool? We'll do both. Chalobah. Go with AC at right centre-back. Aspie. I think it's between Chalobah and Christensen, but because he's got stomach aches, I'm going to go with Chalobah. I can't go with players that have got stomach aches. Alonso will come back in because we have no choice. Reece James will play on the wing-backs again because we have no backup. Who plays in the middle? Easy one for me. Kovacic. I'll go for Kovacic and Kante. That's what I think he would do. I think you'll see James, Kovacic, Kante, and Alonso all in that. Will probably be the exact same line it's been. We've got to have the ball quick and through the lines. The diplomacy, stomach aches. Yeah, stomach aches, man. That's what he gets. Stomach aches. People think Georgie may play. Do you feel that Georgie will play? I'm not too sure. I thought Kante and Kovacic could happen in this game. I do. Up front, easy one. Mount is going to play. Havertz, who I don't think is in great form. I think he will play again. But will he play Timo Werner or will he play Lukaku? Will we see Lukaku in this team today with Havertz, Mount and Werner? Could that happen? Maybe. Looking good. I think Tuchel will play Georgie, no Werner. If Tuchel rotates on 2-day rest, not sure why he would after a week's rest. Exactly. I don't think so. No Timo, no J5. So a lot of you guys are saying no Jorginho and Timo. All right. So if that's the case, with Lukaku starts. So Mount, Havertz, Lukaku is what we're saying, yeah? Someone that could be more of the hold-up play. Chelsea fans, how do you feel that your club will be extinct? That is the most dumbest comment I've ever heard in my life. Do you read the news? Do you go on Twitter and see that we've got a new owner coming through the door? Pretty much. Obviously not. But it's good. You can keep praying. Keep praying, my mate. Lukaku's shot window and all. Yeah. One of the player physios touched Christensen's stomach and it kicks. I don't think Pulisic starts. I'm sorry. So you like this lineup quite a bit, Josh. Okay, cool. So this switches to a 4. This switches to a 4 quickly. So if he plays the 4, 2, 3, no, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, no, 4. Why am I getting confused here? What am I doing? Well, usually he'd play the 4-2-2-2. But I think he'll play the 4-2-3-1. But more like probably more like that, but these are a lot more closer. You probably see that Alonso play there, Havertz will play there. This has gone a bit messy, isn't it, all this? It should be 4-3-1-2. This is not working for me, is it? What? I am struggling with the lineups here. All right, let's just do a 4-2-2-2. Let's just say. If that happens, I think Reece James plays there. I think Ziyech will play here. I think Mount will play here. I think you may see Sa. And then I feel you will see Lukaku and Havertz up front. That's what I feel he might do with a 4-2-2-2. He has dropped, but I still think he'll play him. I think that if we play a 4 at the back, I think it'll be something like that. You know, Pulisic, I don't know. Pulisic in. I mean, Pulisic out is already the cry out for Matty as well. Anyway, let's get the boys in. Let's get the panel in. Let's see what the panel are saying, man. Let's get the boys in. But smash the like button, guys. Get these likes up. Only 59 likes. Come on. Let's get this to 75 now. Everyone that hasn't hit that thumb. I'm staring at the thumb now. How quick can you get this to 75 likes before the panel come on? Let's go. How quick can we do it? Let's go, guys. Let's get it up. We're up to 62. That's good. Good start. 62 likes. How many more can we get? Let's do this. Keep smashing it. In fairness, this isn't a terrible idea. We haven't seen it, though. It's not worked. You know what I mean? It just hasn't worked in a way that it should do. Josh, what's happening, mate?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not bad. How you been, my man?
Yeah, doing well. A nice week off from football. It's been nice.
Yeah, so tell us, obviously, match tomorrow. Todd Boehly's nearly pretty much there, shall we say, in terms of signing off. Just a couple more tests to reach. What's your overall thoughts on the game and the ownership as well?
Yeah, I mean, be happy to have it done more than anything, you know. He seemed to have been the guy pretty much most of the way through. I think it's going to be a solid ownership group. I'm like pretty excited about it. Sounds like Roman put some pretty strong clauses into the sale to help give us a bit of protection. So excited about that. But mostly just want to get done so we can get back to business. As far as the game goes, you know, this is kind of a no excuse game. We've had a full week off. So a lot of the excuses that we could have had about, you know, rest, rotation, playing games, so many games in a row are kind of out the window. It's kind of up to the guys now to put in a performance, having an entire week off to, you know, rest up, get their heads right kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the lineup goes, you know, I don't know if we'll see many changes, to be honest with you. I like we were saying before, like if he's not going to rotate on 2 days rest, I'm not sure he'll rotate on a week's rest. Maybe at right center back, maybe. But aside from that, it'll probably be pretty much the same thing.
Do you think he'll stick to a 3 or do you think he'll go for a 4 in this game? Because obviously the 3 hasn't worked, but it's not worked because of the personnel for me more than anything. But what would you do?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably say the 3. I just don't see him switching to a 4. Usually, if he switches to a 4, it's like late in the game and he wants to get Ziyech on or something, and then he'll tweak it a bit. But for me, it'll probably stay as a 3.
Okay, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. And your thoughts on the whole ownership thing as well?
Yeah, just excited, ready to have it done and over with. Get back to business. That's all I really care about.
Fair enough. Alex is in the house. How we doing, my man, Alex?
What's going on, guys?
We're right, mate. We're all right. Obviously, lots of breaking news today on Todd Boehly pretty much signing the purchase agreement of the football club. And then we've obviously got the transfer. We've got the money to still be sent across, the government approval, and then we've just got to wait for the test that he's got to do with the Premier League, which is called an OD test. Once that's done, he's pretty much signed. But they're still allowing him to have the purchase agreement in place. I mean, how are you feeling about all of the ownership stuff? Are you just at a point now where you just want it signed off so we can just get on and start talking about the summer transfer market and stuff? Like, how are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty much. More important for me. It was always from the beginning more important to sell the club than the transfer market, because I don't know what transfer market is gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be a big one like everybody thinks. I think it's gonna be maybe 2-3 players. I mean, bought it, not loans, but maybe something like that. But nah, I don't think big deal. Big signings are coming either. So for Chelsea in the transfer window is more important about outgoing than ingoing, because if we have better players ingoing who's already in the club, and the reason why they're not in the club is because they had to go on loan, because it was easier for them to go on loan than to send the players that we have on a starting 11 that couldn't find a loan. For example,
Alex, are we not forced into buying now? Obviously, we just talked about Alonso potentially maybe going Barcelona as well. I'm looking to leave. Obviously, Rudiger and Christensen are gone as well. I know you said only 2 or 3 signings, but do you not feel we're kind of forced into buying? And that's without the forwards leaving as well.
But that's the whole situation. I'm saying, like, we're losing 2 center backs. We're going to buy 2 center backs. And we're losing another player. We're probably going to buy another player if we cannot find nobody at loans. Like I said, for me, is most important thing is not the transfer window; it's the transfer of the club. Because I don't, even though when people are signing, when the clubs are signed, it doesn't take a week; it takes longer than people think it is. So maybe with Chelsea situation, it could be a little bit quicker, but I still don't think it's going to be as quick as people think it is. I don't know how much.
Quickly, because I ain't spoke to you about it, actually. What were your thoughts on Roman Abramovich's statement that came out of nowhere?
What do you mean? What are my thoughts about it? My thoughts about the UK government directly, because they're doing everything they can to make that transfer of the club and drag a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like Arsenal. You know, they're not doing shit.
I don't know if I cut off what I was, because I think I cut off, my whole thing went all funny. But what I said was the Roman Abramovich statement. What was your thoughts on him coming out with that the statement from the spokesman? Do you feel that was needed?
Of course it is, because it made unsettled, including me. I started looking at it from the different angle, because if you look at it, all of a sudden the confusion became when the outgoing money, the ones that's supposed to go to the UN, all of a sudden goes to some kind of like a football grassroots. So I'm gonna have to pay for like Chelsea football fans had to pay for the mistakes that the FA did by not introducing the proper youth systems in UK. That's how I looked at the situation. But turns out it wasn't true, or could be true. But Abramovich was never doubted that. You see what I'm saying? It could be like a government attempt, because Times is not a small newspaper. Times, UK Times, it's not a Mail, right? I'm assuming Times is a big newspaper in UK.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's big newspaper.
So they the one that actually said it. But hey, there's no retractions in this world right now. Right now, there's no such a thing as a fake news. Everything goes.
100%. What do you feel about the weekend as well? The game. Obviously, we're not in great form at the moment. It's a must-win. The Wolves don't concede many goals as well. Like, how do we approach this game?
How we approach? Please do not concede the goal first, please, because like I don't know. Somebody needs to get the ass whipped.
Yeah, Jorginho's not starting. I know that for sure with you, mate. Jorginho's not starting.
No, I actually want Jorginho to start.
Why? Why would you just start in this game?
Because people misunderstand me what I don't like about Jorginho. I hate him with passion. But a team is set up for him. So how you cannot start him? We cannot function. If you take him out of our team, it's still Jorginho style in it.
I get what you're saying.
Am I wrong?
No, I get what you're saying. There's a good way of looking at it, I guess. Like you think the system's built around him, so even when he's not in it,
the system is always built around specific players. Our system is defensive mid, and he's the one. But when you take him away, we're exposed on a different fronts.
I think we could still play the same system, but say we had a Tchouaméni in that position, I think you'd see that.
Why, Jim? Why are you sniffing? Why you? I understand what you're saying. Was that you asked about the Wolves game? Is Tchouaméni on the sheet to play versus Wolves?
No, but what I'm trying to say is I feel that it can be enhanced with a better player, with a better DM, but in the same system.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
What about our club that our club can do to put the player right now to do Jorginho's role in the same situation?
We haven't got one.
We haven't, so we have to play the fraud.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? If the Lewin he's not there, we still have to, because we don't have that kind of player. We have to play two over there. So it doesn't matter what you're doing, it's going to be two pivot midfield. So I'd rather have the fraud I know than the fraud I don't know that doesn't play. You see what I'm saying? At least he knows how to stay deep. The other two don't know how to stay deep.
Well, you don't want Kovacic staying deep because for me, he's more effective further up the pitch anyway.
Exactly. And Kante, you don't want Kante to stay because Kante is better when he's progressing the ball.
For me, Kante's been made, since Sarri has been made to play this game where he has to chase the ball further up the pitch, and he's now just used to doing that.
Kante, if you really wants to speak about it, Kante never suits the possession ball game. Kante does not. Kante does not. Even for the friends, for Leicester, everywhere he played, he's a perfect for counter-attacking team.
He just breaks up play. That's his best attribute.
That's his best.
That's what he's always been good at Leicester. Drinkwater setback and sprayed balls, and Conte broke up play. At Chelsea, Cesc did the same thing. Sprayed balls, and Conte broke up play. For France, Pogba sprays balls, Conte breaks up play. I don't know. Some Chelsea fans have this weird thing about Conte in their head where they think he's like some exciting midfielder who carries balls and passes and shoots. It's like the man, just let him sit there and break up play, man, in front of the back three or four. He's the best in the world at that, man.
Can I just push back a tiny bit, just a tiny bit? I get it. He loses the ball a little bit too much sometimes, and maybe possession style isn't his strongest suit, like maybe for Kovacic, for example. But I still think that Kante offers a lot more than just winning the ball back. I think he is good on the ball. He is good at dribbling. He has good passing. Okay, sometimes he misplaces his passing.
Kante has a good passing.
Yes, I think he does. Yeah.
Well,
so I think there's more.
You're saying you think he does, man. It's
no,
already
so.
He can pass. He's just not like consistent with it. Like he can make that stupid pass.
He's good at breaking up play. He's not good in possession. That's why. That's what he's trying to say.
No, but I think he can do it. I think he can do possession style football. We've shown that on Sarri, so I think he can do it.
He showed that under Sarri.
He was forced to do that under Sarri, personally, for me.
He played higher up the pitch.
Yeah, he played almost as a right winger, bruv.
He had 8 goals. He had 8 goals under Sarri. He was definitely playing much higher up the pitch.
No,
I get what you're saying, Eric. I get what you're saying. He has some ability in his bag, but it's not what he does best.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like you can do things, but you cannot do things on a higher level. And the Chelsea is a higher level. You see what I'm saying? His best is what he does is breaking up plays and
Yeah.
But
progressing
then
the ball.
that doesn't
But
necessarily mean that he's a. I know Jem thinks a little bit differently about this, but I don't think he's a DM in that sense.
he's
I
not a
think he's
DM.
yeah.
He's not a defensive
I'm not
mid.
sure he can sit deep like Jorginho.
He can't. He
Well, no,
can't.
that's why you have to put him next to a midfielder who is always looking to go forward and pass the ball forward,
Yeah.
like it's like he was
So you should
perfect
play
with
him in a
Cesc.
double
Do you know
pivot.
why he's not a DM? And this is the biggest thing
Yeah,
that you just
Alex.
said.
Alex,
the reason.
bro, you're calling him a one-trick pony then, by your logic.
I'm just gonna skip that sentence and just move forward. Oh, what I was trying to say is the reason why you don't think he's a DM is because why he's not a DM in my book, and what you said that he's a good passer. That's exactly the reason why he's not DM, because he's not a good passer. If he's under
That's a
pressure,
load of bollocks, bro. For
okay.
me, when you play as a DM, you need to put tackles in and show passion and desire, bro. That's a load of bollocks about passing, bro. Who cares, man?
I think we get mixed up of what N'Golo Kante really is. I think it's hard because we say that he's not great at pressing high and winning the ball, but at the same time we're saying he's not great at sitting. So I think it's a thing of that. What Kante is good at doing is intercepting, whether it's further up the pitch, whether it's in a deeper position. I've seen the best of Kante doing it in a deeper position, not when he was told by Sarri to play further up the pitch and win it higher. And he did have good games. Don't get me wrong, where he'll win it higher and we'd counter from that. I get that. I just don't feel that that's his overall game. He needs to be involved in the midfield and being the main guy breaking things up. And if it's from a deeper role, yeah, fine. But it's, I don't know. I think he's just very good at what he does. And it's just across the pitch for me, you know?
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's the best. He's one of the best in a transition. He's one of the best players to break. You remember last season we scored a lot of goals when we forced the mistakes.
Yeah.
That's how we scored a lot of goals last season.
Yeah.
We forced the team have mistakes, and he's one of them. Second goal for Real Madrid is exactly how we.
It's exactly how Kante should be playing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what I was trying to say.
You want him winning the ball high up the pitch,
but I don't
nicking the
want
ball
him
off
to
them
have the ball
technical
when we
guys,
have
innit?
the ball.
You know what I mean?
When we have the ball, I don't want him to have the ball. In the final third, he's lost. He's passing the wrong way. He has too many thoughts in his head. Like I said, he's not a good in possession football. That's it.
Yeah, he suits counter-attacking football. Do you know what I mean?
He will kill with under in Tottenham right now.
What
Yeah, he
specific midfielder across Europe or the world do you think would be good for Chelsea?
would.
At this point?
Chouameni.
Chouameni, like I said.
Like I
Because-
said,
Yeah, it's like
I've been saying it for weeks, but you haven't been on the show.
you should stop then.
Why?
Like I said, he's not midfielder.
No, I said like I said. I said like I said.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He said, like I said, not Lacazette. Yeah, Lacazette in midfield. I like that one. Yeah, no, look.
This guy,
I mean,
bro.
Declan Rice, we saw Declan Rice yesterday. Some people think he dropped an absolute stinker. They were down to 10 men.
Yo, he's
I
good
don't
in
know, like-
possession, Chouameni, man.
I think
And
Chouameni's
also he took
consistent.
the trouble,
Yeah.
as you guys say, man. And he's also good going forward as well. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He is.
It's a weird position nowadays because there's not like Chouameni is very. There's not a lot of. I would prefer, ideally, in the mold of like a Cesc Fabregas, somebody who can play balls from deep and pick out a pass. That's a kind of a dying skill set these days. There's not a lot of guys who do that much in today's game.
Who does that, Josh? Though,
Like a
Which
Jude Bellingham
midfielder does that these
Bellingham
days?
would be a good idea too, I think, but he's going to be way overpriced and Dortmund aren't going to sell him this
Is
year.
he DM? Is he DM?
Jude Bellingham is a number 8.
But I mean, they play him he plays in kind of a back two for them. I mean, I don't know. Dortmund has I don't know. I think
Dortmund
I've seen
has
him play
what
in the
Klopp
back two
has.
for Dortmund.
He's like Steven Gerrard.
By the way,
Bellingham is like
even if we
Stevie
get
G. You know what I mean?
even if we get
He's a
Chouameni,
number
we're
8,
still gonna play
box to
double
box,
pivot, I think.
working hard, tackles in. You know what I mean?
Matty, what you saying, bro?
Sorry, bro. I've just literally been reading more news regarding the takeover, man. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Jorginho and Kante are both out by the sounds of it. I sent you a tweet, so yeah. So it's gonna be a difficult game for us, man. I mean, let's face it, we've been throwing games away. We are charity FC after all. We give points away for nothing. So we've got to literally bring our swords out, really, haven't we? So because otherwise, Wolves are just going to walk all over us, man.
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel on Chelsea's team used to face Wolves. N'Golo is too early. Georgie is out too. These two we are missing. Callum and Ben still out. Rest us. So Loftus-Cheek and Kovacic, then, isn't it? That's what we're saying right now. Yeah, in midfield.
So it's gonna be Kova and Ruben in the middle of the park.
Well, it's going to be Ruben and Kovacic in the middle now, which completely changes everything, really, for me. If that's the case, I think we do play a 3-4-3. And again, actually, I don't know. Do we play the 4-2-2? I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know what he's going to do here.
Chelsea, Jem, this should be an easy win, man. One,
why?
Wolves are shit.
It's always never an easy win when you're Chelsea.
You're due a win. Come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so, but it's not been as easy as that, unfortunately, being a Chelsea fan, my man. We're just not getting wins at the moment that we need to get, you know?
You're due a win, though, because Wolves are crap.
Yeah, they're not. Well, you say that. They've lost the last 3 games, but we are charity FC. Yeah, let's just get it right. We tend to give stupid points to people, so that's normal. But what are you saying, Samuel?
Yeah, man. Well gone, Jen. How you been, man?
Big up Samuel, man.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Not actually, I'm feeling under the weather, but you know.
How you doing, bro? I saw you in the Lep stream, my G.
We've had hope for lol. Yeah, that was a good time. But yeah, what's it called? Listen, Chelsea are winning this game, and the reason why I believe that is because I know you call yourselves Charity FC, but where are Wolves in the table?
Just be like Man United.
Yeah, so like Wolves are not really. They're not really fighting for anything, to be honest. So,
way above Everton, if you're wondering.
Yeah. So they're not really fighting for anything. So it's like, what are you going to give them points for? If you get what I'm saying, like Everton, okay, that makes sense. You will give them points to them because they're fighting relegation. But with Wolves, like, what are you giving them points for? So all about banter aside, like, you should dispatch your Wolves. Well, I say that you should. We know that it can be a different story on the day, but Wolves, they haven't been impressing me at all for the past few games. I'm not even going to lie to you. Their defense has, in the first part of the season, was one of the best defenses in the league, but they've just been leaking goals now, and they can't score as well.
Yeah, man.
So all I just see is a Chelsea win.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I'm just doing messaging someone as you speak.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
No, we should do, Samuel, but we're not playing with any real great form at the moment, and like Wolves are a team that will just be dogged and make it hard, and we have to try and break them down. And do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like if we'll create chances, but the question is, will we finish them?
Yeah,
you know.
Do you know what, Jem? Yeah, Chelsea are pissing me off because I know that you lot are playing crap right now, but in the FA Cup final, you lot will turn up, and that's just
I see you guys.
annoying me.
I gotta go. Guys. I'll see you.
See you later.
Blessing.
See you later. Take it.
See you later.
Samuel is spot on, bro. Like, remember back in Feb, you thought, oh, Liverpool have a good chance, but they tend to want to turn up in one of games, don't you? You saw it in the League Cup final, you know.
Yeah, like it's annoying, like, because you just thinking, okay, how are Chelsea gonna play in this? I can't base Chelsea on this run that they're having, because again, they will play poor against the small teams, but play like what a world-class Barcelona against the big teams. Like, it's annoying.
Yeah,
man.
What do you think about the whole owner thing as well, man? Tell us about the whole owner thing. Like, do you think like Todd Boehly is going to be the new Chelsea owner? But do you, as rivals, worry about the guy, and especially when it seems to be good words from like the Dodgers fans on him and stuff like that? So,
do you know what? Yeah, what I'll always say is that, and I think a lot of Chelsea fans have come to the conclusion: you're not going to get another owner like Abramovich. Abramovich was one of a kind. Like he
Yeah.
was an actual supporter of the club.
Yeah, it was different, bro.
Yeah, he was different. And of course we will throw salt and say sugar daddy this, sugar daddy that. But really and truly, we would all want an owner like Abramovich who
Yeah,
actually supports
bro.
the club and puts money into the club
Yeah, he
to
pumps
see them
in.
and not just profit. Do you get what I'm saying?
And also he knows ball as well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So more time, it's already going to be a downgrade from Abramovich, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
for me, like Roman like made Chelsea relevant. I'm not having a dig at Chelsea, by the way. It's just true. The stats show it with the amount you won and them things there. And like without him, Jem would be supporting Fulham because you're about to go out of business if he hadn't bought you. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
It's true because if he hadn't
Mate,
bought them, they would have sold their stadium and they would have went out of business.
I said, listen, Chelsea were never going to go down that route anyway. Anyone that thinks that would have happened to Chelsea
No,
is stupid.
it was
So-
back then. I'm talking about back then, not now.
Oh, back when, when Ken Bates sold it, you're talking about, yeah.
You would have been
Well,
supporting Fulham, wouldn't you? If
You could have
it
bought.
hadn't happened.
No, I wouldn't. I was supporting Chelsea before that. I've been supporting
No, I'm
Chelsea in the
saying
90s.
if you had went out of business, you would have been supporting Fulham now. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't honestly know what I would have done back then because at that point. But I think at the end of the day, I still feel that someone would have bought that football club. I know what you're saying. We could have gone if and buts if it did get shut off. If it got shut off, then it'll just be down to people's choices, wouldn't it? Who they follow from then onwards. But I probably wouldn't support anyone. I'll probably just like watching football, and that's about it.
But yeah, like with this whole Tom Boehly situation, what I'll just advise Chelsea fans is don't expect much. Don't get your hopes high, because we've seen before when especially with Chelsea fans, when you get your hopes high, it comes crashing down. So just have like level expectations. You're not going to spend as much as you did before, but if he has a model, and I always say this, the FSG model, but I'm a bit here and there with FSG, but if Chelsea spend where they get the right players for the system,
like
over the price tag, you will still do well. Let's just say that. Get the right players for the system, not over the price tag, and you will still do well. Let's just say that.
Like exactly. Like Chelsea, that Todd Boehly fellow, we don't know much about him, but I think he's gonna be like stingy in a way, like not demanding more like Roman, because no one's like Roman, surely. Do you know what I mean? And and I'm like, to be fair, you lot are really well run. You know what I mean? Over the last few years, you use your academy.
Look at the anti-Glazier
and
thing
all
we're
that,
having
you know what I
done.
mean?
Look at the anti-Glazier thing that's being put on the deal as well, where we're making sure that, like, you know, we don't get burnt with debt. There's only a certain amount of debt the company can take on, you know, in terms of shares. You're not allowed to sell shares. Like, there's a lot of things that they're doing to make sure that the club is run to a certain level. Big up to RD as well in the house as well, and Cephas and everyone that's in the house.
Yeah, 100%. Like I didn't really know about the Glazers. Tom Boehly's track record, really and truly. I only knew about the Ricketts, and I knew they owned the Cubs or something in America. And I remember speaking to some fans, and they were absolutely crap. So if you lot had the Ricketts, then yeah, you'll be in serious trouble. But Todd Boehly, it seems like he's all right. As I said, just don't put your expectations too high. Just make it level-headed and realistic, and yeah, you lot should be all right.
Yeah, I mean, Tuchel's come out and said that in the press conference, which is going on now, that he's been told last week that we have a preferred bidder and things are going forward. So it's an important week, but I'm only focused on the pitch. But I am confident. So he knows what's going on. You know, he knows that the
he's moving like Wenger, man. Like it's like if he's moving like he knows the club inside out, man. Do you know what I mean?
But they will keep
he's
him
supposed to be your gaffer, bruv, not your men behind the scenes, bruv.
Yeah, he is a gaffer, but at the same time, if you're a gaffer that's expecting a certain amount of backing in the summer, which is only around the corner for transfers and that, then you know, you want to know what's going on, didn't you? Like he ain't gonna want to be hanging around if we're not giving him what's required, you know, to be challenging and whatever else. So I get why Tuchel's heavily involved, and I think with Todd Boehly, I think what you will see, which is different from in the past, is I think you'll see more of a connection between the manager and the owners, where I do think they'll have them more involved. Some people think that the decisions will still be made by the sporting directors and stuff. The majority of the bigger decisions will. But I'm talking about the profile player, like what Samuel said, and the type of players that we bring in. I feel that Thomas Tuchel might have more of an influence at this point now with this.
Yeah,
owner.
100%. Because I feel like I know, and this has been hasn't really been talked over the years. Maybe Chelsea fans in your own groups have been talking about it. It's been a little bit covered up by your success because you still win trophies, but your scouting network is actually very poor, very poor.
Yeah,
So
man.
that needs to change drastically.
I agree. But you know what? You look at what we have done over the last 20 years of Roman, and the fact that we've won every single trophy possible and achieved
Exactly.
that. But
Yeah.
No,
you
you've
can
won
see
everything actually.
huh?
You've won everything actually.
I know that's what I just said. Yeah, we've
You
won
said
everything.
everything
Yeah.
possible. There's no more trophies. You won everything.
That's what I'm saying. Everything possible. Yeah, we've won everything possible. Like that's what I'm saying. We've won it. There's not anything else to win. We've won every competition possible. Like there's nothing else to win.
Even the community shield, man, if you want to count it.
Well, we've won that. We've won it all. But in terms of, I forgot what I was about to say. It's just I was about to say something important. I
You're
was
about to
saying
talk about the scouting, weren't you?
no, I wasn't. No, I forgot. I was about to say something and I completely
Yeah,
forgot.
like you remember when you
That was it.
recruit like
Yeah,
players like
that's
Costa, Werner, and these guys. Like that's on your scouting, man. Marina needs to do better. For me, it's
so.
a fault. Why is she like allowing deadwood players to stay? Why? Shouldn't
Anyway, I can't bother to get into that. No, I can't bother to get into that. That's a story for another day. What I was trying to say is that we, even though Roman's been here for 20 years and we've been so successful, we've won
20
more
years next year.
trophies. Yeah, fine. We've won more trophies than any other club, should we say, in English football at the moment. It's a great achievement. Where we have underachieved is the sustainability in the Premier League. To win a league from finishing 10th the season before to then finishing 4th the next and then winning it, you know, a couple of years later again. For me, I felt we could have been more, like the way Man United were, where they dominated through their periods. I feel like we could have done that. I feel like we could have done that.
Because you guys don't give managers time. That's why.
All right, let me finish, bro. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just finish with what I'm saying. Let me just finish what I'm saying. So I feel like we could have done that if the recruitment was right with the managers that we had. The issue we had was it was very easy to just ditch managers, bring managers, back that manager, and then in the second season say to them, instead of giving you more ammo, you won it. You won it. Why do we need to give you any more ammo? You just done it the season before. Use the same players and make it happen again. And that's what happened. We ended up not improving on the squads, and that's where we ended up falling short of not able to kick on and dominate the league. And I'm talking about the Premier League more like so, not the Champions League. And I'm talking about what we play every blimmin' season, and we haven't done that. You know, we've done the double under Mourinho. I get that. That's cool. And Ancelotti, that's okay. I'm talking about over a long-term period. You know, you look at Liverpool, for example, right? You guys and Man City have been fighting each other for a while now, I would go. But you've only won it once in 30 years. You know, like Man City have dominated heavily. Do you get what I mean through it? And that's not a good thing. It's hard to win the title, but to be, I think it's like Man City, for what Man City have done in the Premier League, and I think it's great what they've done. They've dominated for quite a while. I still feel that, you know, you could flip it on the Champions League. They haven't won it. There's always something that someone just can't do. Do you know what I mean? It's just funny. I find it really funny.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Jem. We got this season, innit? Klopp can do it.
Yeah, but you've only won one. How long's Klopp been there? 6 years?
Yeah, how long, bro?
6 years.
So it's 6 years you've won it once.
Only a Prem and the...
But Jem.
Cups in the...
I know there's context to it because of the players that you had when you come in and stuff. I get that. Tuchel is
even more than that. The actual was an actual mess. The club was an actual mess. Because I went through a couple of old videos about us when we first sacked Brendan Rodgers. And Carragher said it. a lot of the board members were blaming different people, saying it was their fault, it was this fault. There's a lot of in-house fighting between each member of the Liverpool Football Club. Once Klopp came in, they shipped out every single one of those members. I think Damien Comolli was part of that group. His people were part of that, and then we brought in some new people that had a direction with Jurgen Klopp. So it wasn't. I know it was not only the players, but the actual club was the actual mess. It wasn't.
And I think Chelsea need to do the same thing where they, where Liverpool
need the revamp, bro.
No, not in that in a sense, but they need to trust Tuchel in the vision that he has, and not because what I think there's the benefit of having Todd Boehly maybe is that with in the Abramovich era, you will have like a manager for 2-3 seasons and then sack him.
Yeah.
So with Todd Boehly, maybe that won't happen, and maybe Tuchel will stay longer than what under Abramovich he would have. Because if Tuchel had a bad season, let's just say he had a bad season next season, under Abramovich he would have been sacked. Let's be honest. So yeah,
it's true, 100%, and that's why I think that the whole change is coming in regards to like ownership and the way that they run it, their style of running it structure wise and things like that. And I feel that Todd Boehly will want to keep on when a manager that he sees has the players inside, has the idea and the project ideas. It's just having the time to have that project and do what you need to do, but also be backed by the owner. With Roman, it was always a thing of, we need to win now. We'll give you Lukaku, 100 million, win. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's always that attitude to go and just keep winning. I feel that we're in a bit of a rebuild now. Like, Chelsea are not at the level they were a couple of years ago. They haven't got them kind of players. I think they're at a point where they have good players, young players as well, but there's just too many areas that are starting to show that need to be improved. And so many players that are still here go back to when Sarri was around, and that's too long ago for me. Some even Conte. So like you need to give Tuchel the time to create his own own projects. It's like a bit like what happened with Klopp, and Pep. Same sort of thing, but he needs the right owners to allow him.
Players.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you with that. I just believe that that's the whole thing, because I'm not trying to when I talk about Liverpool, I will always try and bring it back to Chelsea because it is a Chelsea stream. But the thing about it is that when people bring up Klopp and it's taken him 6 years, 7 years to do this, they have to be very careful in what they're saying, because the way football is right now, it's a lot of you have to do it now. You have to do it now. If you don't do it this season, you're a failure. If you don't do it the next season, you're a failure. And we have to take time in that. Chelsea fans got into that trap of that with Tuchel and then him winning the Champions League this season. Nearly every Chelsea fan thought they could win the league the next season. But there were some Chelsea fans like you, Jem, like David, and others were saying, no, it's not our time yet. Yes, we're a good team, but
we're not
right now, you're not ready. And you have to, and now a lot of Chelsea fans are looking at it saying, maybe we should give Tuchel 2-3 more transfer windows so he can actually get his team. Then we can judge it on that. So we have to use context. We have to use context.
I'll cast your minds back. I think, Jem, you on that stream. It was like last year with like Anita, yourself, David, and a couple of other people were talking about Chelsea, and I was on that stream saying, look, if under Lampard you're gonna expect that it won't be continued success, you're gonna have to wait and be patient. And with Todd Boehly, I looked at the guy, I looked at his profile. The guy is not rich at all. He doesn't have that much money. I think his net worth or his actual asset value is lower than FSG or lower than what's his name, John W. Henry.
Yeah,
and John W. Henry don't want to spend a lot of money. So imagine this guy. This guy doesn't want to spend a lot of money with this club. He wants to.
No, but it's not him that's spending his own money though, Ram. He's brought on someone called Clear Lake Capital, who's going to own probably 50 to 60% of the shares. Who are?
Is it a consortium?
A very big, it's a consortium. Who are a very
consortium.
big one. Yeah,
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
We've got under Todd Boehly, you've got Clear Lake Capital, who are owned by a very rich owner. Then you've got Mark Waters, who is another very wealthy individual. He and Todd Boehly pretty much run the Dodgers, so they're both on there. But Mark Waters has his own company set up. I can't remember the name of it. It begins with G, and they run that. He runs a company that's worth like 360 billion. So if he decides to get that kind of company involved with it as well, that it could be serious numbers. Is what I'm saying. So there is money there. Is what I'm trying to say. It's not as if like we're not going to be spending it. Like there will be money. It's just how we're going to spend it and how quick will he do it. You're right. He might not spend like Roman and do stupid signings, but I wouldn't want that anyway. I'd rather us target profile players at cheaper rates than buy 100 millions Lukaku's or 75 million Kepas. When we're forced into a corner, which we have been, we just rush.
The thing is, FSG when I know that people have said they spent a lot of money with the Dodgers, right? Thing is, right, FSG didn't spend. FSG at the start of the reign as owners of the Boston Red Sox, they spent a lot of money, and then they decided it wasn't working because they weren't winning any titles, so they ended up adopting this sort of method. So, like, I feel as though Todd Boehly might adopt the same approach because it's a winning approach. It's been proven. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of these Chelsea fans need to be a little bit more patient. And from what I've heard from a lot of Chelsea fans about their scouting network, you're gonna have to be a lot patient because people like to say that you buy superstars just for the sake of buying superstars. But if that's the case, then a lot of the signings you're going to sign in the next couple of seasons are going to be hit and miss. So, yeah,
fairs, and it might take a bit of that to get it right. But I still think
Chelsea fans need to have patience as well. Like they need to have like patience as well because like you look like a flip flop FC. Do you know what I mean? Like one time everything is all rosy and then the next day, the players are not good enough, blah blah blah. And yet these are the same players that won you the UCL. So make it make sense, man.
Well, you can't really blame Chelsea fans. So I know we're all saying this, but listen, that's what Abramovich brought into the club.
Exactly.
You have instant success. If you're not doing well, you're out of the club. Like you can't really blame them. Chelsea fans are spoiled, but that's what Abramovich brought into the club. So
Abramovich has done that exactly. Abramovich is the one that's.
I know Abramovich has done that, but Chelsea, like when they judge particular things, like these like players won you the UCL, and they hit a blip, and all of a sudden these players are the worst thing since sliced bread. But
let me just tell you, no. This is Chelsea Football Club, and this is our fan base. Like we have, let's be serious. All of our fan bases are reactionary, are overreactionaries. Like we all have them. Like everyone reacts to most dumbest things that happen. It's normal. It's just football. Emotions always come in with that. Couch, what you saying?
Yo, what's going on? You good?
Yeah, not bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, man, great. I had to jump in because I'm hearing all the Liverpool this and the Liverpool that. I stay with the Liverpool thing, so I have to jump in the same way. But like honestly, the thing that I'm seeing right now that has to happen, and I'm pretty sure that when they talk about the Liverpool, it's not about like finding players like that fit the style of football. It's the hit rate. That's what has to improve at Chelsea. Coming from Roman, where Roman was just like buying our way out of trouble. Like if we make a bad purchase. Next summer, we're buying somebody else. And then, the dead weight goes on loan for 3 years. What we have to do now is be more efficient in the market. And that means our hit rate has to be from 30% to where it is right now to like 60, 70%. That's the difference right now for me. It's not about like what we're actually doing in the transfer market. It's about how we go about, bringing players to the club now. We have to be more efficient about that. And if we're not, then we're not going to be able to really sustain our current level.
Don't forget the temperament of players as well, because some of the players that you bought in, they sort of make a mess in the dressing room at times. Like Romelu Lukaku is a big standout for me.
I just think that's down to the type of players. That's the type of players. When you're talking about it, we haven't really, and I think Samuel must have said it or something like that. We haven't really been attracting players or going after players that suit the brand of football that we're after. It's more about the brand. You know, like Lukaku sells shirts. You know, as much as you want, as much as you hate to admit it, he sells shirts. You know, there's people that will be buying his kits. You know, so Pulisic the same, right? And for me, we have to shift from that mentality to like just finding the diamonds in the rough, like what we were doing when we had Emanalo as our director. You know, now it's less about like suiting corporate sponsors and like it's you know, addressing the corporate brand, because like true, like Nike gives us like what 60 million or something like that for a year, and they don't do that because we win trophies. They do that because we can attract big players to play for the club. And if we're not doing that, then we're not really answering addressing what they want. They've given us a 60 million for or whatever. So I think that model needs to change too. We have to get away from that whole appeasing sponsors and corporate brand and just go back to football. Find those diamonds in the rough. Go back to finding like a Mo Salah that nobody was checking for until we found him. Go back to finding like Kevin De Bruyne, who was playing in like Genk. Nobody knew about that. Like go back to finding those players and you know, developing them.
Yeah, but the problem with that is
Nah, you stole Salah first, yeah.
Wait a second,
Because he was meant to join us.
we have to take into consideration with that, and I agree that we have to have a good scouting department, and I don't trust the scouting department whatsoever.
Ram, what are you talking about, Salah? Salah played against us in the Europa League, and he completely
Rodrigo,
had a brilliant game. That's how we
2014, January 2014, we submitted a bid to sign Salah from FC Basel. And you lot came in with hang on. You lot came in with a higher bid and took him from us.
No, we were monitoring Salah from 2013.
No,
you know,
stop it, man.
Oh,
you just
took
took
when
him,
you had the masterclass in Basel, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
against us in the Europa League.
You took him from us, man.
And also in Champions League, didn't he play against you?
No, we played in Europa League. It's the year after we won the Champions League.
Exactly.
The Europa League run.
We played against Basel. You still took him from us.
You should have signed Konoplyanka as well.
That was our replacement. Konoplyanka was our replacement for Salah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anyway.
Just like Arshavin was meant to be a replacement for Robbie Keane.
It doesn't matter. We got him now.
Exactly.
The league, man.
Ram, it doesn't matter, man. You have him now. So
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Ram, look at the platform, man.
What you saying, Rodrigo, man?
Yeah, I was gonna touch on one thing I find interesting in the deal that working out, the 10-year deal. Is that the anti-Glazer, the call? I saw an article on Sky where Todd Boehly, the consortium, are not allowed to take any management fee or they can't sell any shares in a similar way Glazer are doing to United. I think that's a really good thing.
That again,
good clause to add to the agreement. I think that's Roman again protecting the club going forward.
Yeah, 100%. You just said it right there. It's spot on. And you're talking about this actually. Let's just quickly have a look at this quickly. So these were the comments that came out for about the anti-Glazer clauses, which is something that Roman's looking to also include within the deal with the new owner. So basically, it's barring new owners from paying dividends or management fees until 2032. So if anyone's not familiar, I mean, I don't get the management fee side of it. I don't know how that works, but in terms of dividends,
they pay to themselves.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to pay to themselves till 2032. So that in itself shows that they have to be for the long run. They have to put in the hard work. They have to keep growing the brand of Chelsea Football Club, which is what Roman's done up to this point. They want it to keep going up. Prohibiting the sale of any shares for 10 years is another very good one as well, because say in 6 years Chelsea Football Club is then worth 15 billion. It then stops the likes of other shareholders that are looking at Chelsea Football Club as money, should we say, as an investment, coming in and buying shares of Chelsea. So whoever the consortium is, as we speak, are the ones that will own majority of the share. All of the shares anyway, and they will not be able to share any of it out to any other future investors that might look at that and go, actually, we want to be involved in this. Let's pump some money into it. Even if it's like a 10% share ownership or something like that, or a 5% share ownership. They won't be able to do that. It's just whoever's a part of it is a part of it for the next 10 years as well, which I think is a good thing. That works. Agreeing to strict limits on the level of debt that they can take on, again, is a no-brainer. You know, if this owner come in and just kept spending and didn't look at the debt price built up and then decide to pull the plug, this club would go bust. Like, yeah, I mean, he's trying to make sure that we're above the means and being run in a correct manner. And that, again, look, Roman Abramovich, I take my hats off to. Honestly, I don't see any other owner in world football going through the levels of commitment that he's doing to make sure that this club is being looked after. You know what I mean?
I just don't know how enforceable all that stuff is after the sale's actually completed. That's my only worry.
They are written in the
They're
contract.
clauses.
The clauses.
They're clauses. So there'll be a part.
So what happens? What happens if they breach the contract?
Oh, there are legal consequences.
So they lose what? They lose the team. You know what I mean? Like it's just
No, they don't lose the team, but they probably
okay. So
get
then what happens then? So
they're probably, I don't know. I mean,
you see what I'm saying? Though, like a lot of these times, these takeover deals, you have all these clauses and whatnot, and then lawyers just find their ways to weave through it. You know, like I know it's, you know, we're in the honeymoon period. We don't want to hear that kind of stuff, but that's truly, you know, I just feel like these clauses are hollow. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold weight even like 3 years from now. You know, but
I think we've got to bear in mind, Couch, is that Roman Abramovich is a businessman. He's been
no doubt.
He is someone that's probably a step ahead of a lot of people, probably even the own government. He knows how to run businesses. He's not a billionaire for no reason, and he knows what he can and can't get away with, or how he can make things work. And I just feel that he will have something in set. I agree with you. It's what happens if they break it. I don't know. I don't think any of us can answer that question. But at least for his peace of mind, trying to do the right thing and throw clauses at these new owners is a way of him saying, look, you know, I'm trying to keep the club at the order that we've got it to, you know.
And plus,
I just feel like a lot of those things are just like gentlemen's agreements, though. Like, okay.
Oh, Couch, there's one more thing on the board. Usually, I don't know about how it works I don't know how Chelsea is limited or but usually on the board you have non-executive members or people that are not affiliated to the owners, so they have some say in when it comes to voting or when it comes to challenging what's going on. So it's not just simple. Oh, they can do whatever they want. I think there will be some sort of like measures put in place to ensure that at least some of these clauses are adhered to.
Yeah, you're talking about what's his name, Dan Finkelstein or whatever.
People like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But does he have? Okay, he doesn't. It's the voting power that you have to be careful of there. It's like who has the most voting power, right? And
exactly.
He might have a stake in it, but I don't know if his claim to affect the direction of the club is as big as say somebody like Boehly's or even Clear Lake at this point, you know.
Yeah.
So that's just it. Like if Finkelstein's doing his job right, then he will let the Chelsea Trust know. He will let the CPO pitch. He'll let everyone know what is actually happening. And then at that point, the club and the supporters will hopefully make up enough noise that we can challenge some of these. Yeah, but like in the end, I don't know if much of this stuff is very much legally binding. Like if I own a club, you can't tell me how to run my club, son. Seriously, I bought it from you. Yeah, I told you I can do this, but now that I'm looking at things right now, I can't work like that. You know, I can't. You know, like the markets change every day. You know, so what was promised today cannot be assured tomorrow. So it's going to be very hard to like enforce. Like, oh, you have to keep the club for 10 years and all this stuff. It's very, very difficult, I think.
But at least I think that if I look at Thomas Tuchel perspective, at least I feel like at least the first summer, I don't know about in the future, this summer in the next the January window, I think we'll see good reinforcement coming to the squad. At least so. I think I can see us competing.
Liverpool and
City are far ahead of us. Don't get wrong.
I'm more concerned about selling the players we don't need. You know, that's really important for me.
Yes, yeah.
Wait, Rodrigo, could you say that again, please?
No. I'm not ashamed to say it. Liverpool and Man City are streets ahead of us. It's evident. Come on.
And
you guys are far.
Eric, can I ask you a question real quick? Can I ask you a question real quick, Eric? And this is to all the Chelsea fans, actually.
He's on mute, bro.
He's on mute? Oh, I can't see it properly. But this is really a question to all the Chelsea fans. How many players do you feel like are going to be going this summer? Realistically.
There's two for sure.
Rudiger and Christensen.
Yeah, I can probably see. Probably about 3 or 4.
Rudiger and Christensen are gone. And even that Aspie guy, you know what I mean? And
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
bro.
see Aspie going
Like,
anywhere.
bro,
I
like,
think
what
Aspie's staying.
wants for them, man? Because Tuchel's only spent 100 million, bro, and they don't count the loan, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Aspie is not going anywhere. I think they triggered his 1 year extension because he played an amount of games that triggered that 1 year extension. So he will be here next year.
Yeah,
I
blame
agree.
Tuchel for playing him then.
Yeah, I know, right? No. We didn't have a choice. James was out for like 12 weeks. We didn't have a right back or anyone that can play as a wing back.
Yeah.
You always have a choice, mate.
Guys.
Come on. We would have
Guys.
played at wing back.
As the great Harry Osborne said.
Anyway, I've got two guys. Big up to everyone in the chat as always. Thank you very much for tuning into the channel. We'll be back for the match reaction after the game. Hopefully it's a nice one because the last couple I've been very frustrated.
Ram, Spurs, that's will be a draw. Mark my word.
Anyway,
you'll draw points
them words.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Ram,
Guys,
bro, let me tell you
big up to yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll
yourselves,
later on. Peace
Big
out.
up, Jam. Big up, bro.
Go,